So first we're just going to go through all these wood slices and pick the very best ones. Next I'm just going to make sure that they fit a cup or a mug. And then I'm going to take them outside and spray them with a coat of lacquer. I was testing the first one just to make sure I liked the way that it was looking since this is my first time. And then I went ahead and sprayed all of them, let them dry, and then I came back over for another coat, and then I wanted to get the sides really good, so I put them on a cup. After they completely dried and set, I brought them inside to chalk on. I'm using the Explore More mini transfers. I just picked the ones that I thought would go best with these coasters that I'm making, and I'm chalking with our chalk paste in pesto. I wanted it to be very monochromatic, so I picked this earthy green that I thought complemented the wood well. I wanted to make sure that I pressed the transfers really good. Since this is wood, it has a bit of a groove, and so I wouldn't get any bleeding, I made sure and pressed a couple of times along the grain of the wood and along all the edges to ensure that it was properly sealed. Since I did seal the wood before I went ahead and started chalking with the lacquer, I found that the transfers went on really easily. They stuck perfectly, there was no bleeding, and it made for a perfect application. Once the chalk dried overnight, I brought the slices outside and I gave them another spray of lacquer just to seal that chalk on top. Once the lacquer had completely dried, I noticed that the edges of the wood were not completely sealed. Since it's a little bit rigid and there's a lot of nooks and crannies in there, a pretty thick coat of Mod Podge all around the edges, and then I went ahead and did the top as well. At this point, I already knew that I was going to end up putting another layer of lacquer on top of the Mod Podge because Mod Podge isn't completely waterproof, and since this was going to be used for cups, I wanted to make sure that they would last as long as possible. Again, I'm not a professional, I'm just doing this for fun, and this is what I thought would work. I got done Mod Podging all of the wood slices, I went ahead and let it dry completely. I got this cork sheet at the Dollar Tree and I thought it was perfect for what I wanted to do with this project. I thought this would be a perfect little touch to just make sure that when you put the coasters down, they stay there. I did seal the backs before going ahead and putting the cork on it with the lacquer. I just wanted to make sure that if any water or moisture somehow got onto the wood back there, it wouldn't create any kind of mold or anything like that. Now, since this is a gift, I thought it would be fun to kind of show you how I'm going to present it. To package it, I just got some twine and I wrapped it around twice. Now the coasters do have a stand, but I just wanted this to feel a little bit more organic than putting it on the metal stand that I got for them. I felt like it needed a little bit more of a personal touch, so I took the transfers from the same collection and I picked out a few that I thought would make a pretty outline for a tag. Paper I'm using is just watercolored, thick, heavy cardstock paper. I want it to be a little bit more precise than the tool that I have right now, so I use my finger to just kind of lightly push that paste to where I wanted it to, and then I'm just gonna roughly cut a shape. I wanted to mirror the wood look, so I took some distress paint and in my sponge, and I'm just gonna lightly distress and darken the edges of the paper and create a little bit more rustic feel to the tag. I think this is a really fun, easy way to just add a little bit more character to a project without having to do a whole bunch. Like, it changed completely the way that the tag looked. Now, lettering is not my big skill set, so I'm tracing on her name at first with a pencil, and then I'm just gonna go over it with a Sharpie. Do not judge my lettering. I told you, it's not my strong set. I hope you enjoyed this coaster tutorial and that you will try it yourself. It was super easy, and if I can do it, I promise you can do it.